What is up, Raider Nation? Let's do it.
For us to come home in front of our family, fans, Raider Nation, the Black Hole.
Raiders! Goddamn right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Overreaction Monday. I am your host. I am Jay Raider. I appreciate everybody tapping in on this Monday afternoon, Monday evening. For some of you guys, appreciate you. Appreciate the nation. Everybody on the chat. Everybody tapping in. Appreciate you guys on this crazy day. A lot of shit going down today. Obviously, but. Before I get into it, a couple orders of business. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the show. I appreciate you tapping in. Make sure you guys go ahead and check in, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications for shows just like this and any pop-up shows that happen with any breaking news. Make sure you guys hit that notification button, hit those thumbs up for sure, 100%. Appreciate you guys tapping in. But with that, let's get into it, y'all. Head coaching update, right? This is why we're all here. And the biggest news, Ben Johnson is signing with the Chicago Bears. This broke earlier about 11 a.m. Pacific, if you're on the West Coast. Like, what is it, 2 o'clock Eastern. But yes, apparently Ben Johnson has made a verbal agreement to go ahead and be the next head coach for the Chicago Bears. A lot of us feels this as a gut check for sure. I am totally caught off by surprise for a few reasons. For one, hearing different reports come out that the Bears and Ben didn't really have a good interview, so it's a little bit surprising to see now they're bringing Ben on. Had an interesting interview with Ben, and next thing you know, they're in agreement. That could come from a different amount of things, right? For one, they have Caleb Williams. That's a very attractive thing in itself, right? Having the former number one pick from last year's draft as your quarterback is a very attractive thing. Another thing, and I'll let you guys know, um, the other breaking news is that what's out there is looks like Ben is getting a crazy whopping $92 million contract. That's out there right now. The current rumor right now that he's getting about like almost $100 million contract. It's looking like a 8 or 9 year type of deal. So he's almost getting a Gruden contract. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. Um, so pair that with having Caleb Williams as your quarterback. It's hard to say no. So it looks like Ben took the safe option and went over to Chicago. You guys, let me know your thoughts on this. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Really quick, let me go ahead and salute everybody. My guy, Robert Pena, salute. Thank you for tapping in, brother. Appreciate you. My guy, Jeff, New England Raiders boosters in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, brother. My guy, SoCal Sal. Appreciate you watching, brother. 100%. But yeah, Jeff says smoke and mirrors about Ben Johnson and the Bears. I don't know. So just so you know, nothing has been signed as of yet. This is a verbal agreement. Now, it looks like I could say surely about 95% chance that he's going to the Bears. Unless something happens from now to the contract signing, where Brady and Davis come out and outbid the Bears. Obviously, you have this no state tax in Nevada. But the thing that really kind of plays a factor into is that we really don't have a viable option at quarterback. AOC is not the guy. AOC is not the attractive thing that will bring a guy like Ben Johnson over to go ahead and sign with the Raiders. The money factor shouldn't be. I think what I've heard reportedly that Raiders offer somewhere in that same vicinity their contract. So, but not really having that viable option at quarterback does hurt us. But obviously, shit could change. You never know with this, with the NFL and everything else. Things could change overnight. But as of right now, it looks like most likely Ben will sign on the dotted line with Chicago. And I don't know. That leaves us with a couple other options, and I'll go into that in just a second. And another thing I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys before I go ahead and jump into the chat again and get you guys' thoughts on this. Looks like Bears are already busy at work. They're already signing Dennis Allen as their next defensive coordinator. Guy can't coach for shit, but he's a pretty good defensive coordinator. So those moves coming out of Chicago, they are signing Dennis Allen as their next defensive coordinator. So obviously with us, we've had a pretty good amount of coaching candidates that we've interviewed so far. But with that, I believe now it is pretty much we could pretty much say that Pete Carroll is now going to be the front runner to land the head coaching job with the Las Vegas Raiders for this offseason. Again, you guys let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think about Pete Carroll possibly coming over to the Las Vegas Raiders? Make sure you guys hit up that chat. Let me know your thoughts on the current situation, because as of right now, we lost Ben Johnson. And it hurts. For sure, it hurts. When I saw this news, that because I saw it from Ian Rappaport. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? When a lot of people out there were projecting Ben to come over to Las Vegas. So for me, this literally was something where it literally hit me sideways. Uh, I'm a little bit dumbfounded about the situation. A little bit pissed off about the situation as well. I'm gonna put up a quick poll for y'all. Let me know you guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate everybody watching as well on the chat. I'll post this up. All right. Got that going. So make sure you guys put in your votes for that as well. So let me go ahead and go to the chat. Renee says, bring in PC. Looks like that's probably gonna be the direction. And let me tell you guys something regarding that interview that was last week. I heard that it was a really, really good interview with Pete. Pete was there for hours in the building talking to a whole bunch of people. And hearing that, it gives me some sense of confidence that Pete might be the guy. My guy Jeff New England Booster says, Pete Carroll now. I'm all in on Pete Carroll, 100%. Yeah. And let me tell you something for everybody out there doubting Pete Carroll, who says he's too old and all this bullshit. Again, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this out there again, so y'all know. Pete Carroll is proven. Pete Carroll has done it in multiple levels. He's done it at the collegiate level, won multiple national championships with USC. He's done it in the professional level with the Seattle Seahawks. This man can put a team together. Now, if the whole thing about him not being around as a long-term solution, where we're talking about like a 10-year type of thing, you get a brilliant young offensive coordinator to come in and groom as your successor, right? There's plenty out there that you can go ahead and possibly bring in from the collegiate level or from a different team that you can go ahead and groom and be your guy once you decide, okay, it's time for me to fully hang it up. I can't do this anymore. This is going to be the guy who's going to be, leading the reins. And this is something that you communicate to Tom and Mark, like, hey, you know what? This is my plan. This is my exit strategy. I'm going to have so-and-so go ahead and take over next season. Definitely recommend it. You see what he can do. He's been under me, yada, yada, yada. Definitely an option. You get somebody like Pete Carroll, you get like a Robert Saleh as your DC. That's a beautiful thing, and the offensive coordinator, that'll be the next real question here, is that who will come in and be that hot shot for Pete Carroll to come in and where he can go ahead and groom and be his potential successor. For sure. Appreciate my guy Jeff New England Booster. Make sure you guys check in, hit those likes, hit those thumbs up, check in, pay your bar tabs. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I'm currently on the mission to go ahead and hit 250 subscribers. I'm currently at 169. Make sure you guys tap in, hit that subscribe button. Obviously, also I am dropping shorts every week as well, doing pop-up shows as well. I have my regular Saturday morning show, Good Morning Raiders, every damn Saturday at 10 a.m. We're doing the Raider Connection as well with my guy Jeff New England Booster. So make sure you guys are tapping into the show. And it looks like I might keep this Monday show as well, because I've been on few Mondays in a row now. So this looks like it might be a regular thing where I'm on Monday nights as well. So appreciate everybody tapping in and joining me on this Monday evening as well. My guy SoCal South says, if you guys don't know, Pete Carroll was USC's third choice. I believe the Seahawks' second choice. And look what happened. Look what he did over there. I mean, come on now. If you guys are talking about experience, because a lot of people out there were like, fire AP, you got somebody who's inexperienced. Now you have somebody who is very experienced, who has success at the highest levels as now probably your top candidate, right? Multiple national championships, Super Bowl winner, literally rebuilt that Seahawks team. Seahawks were irrelevant for years until Pete Carroll came in. Come on. I mean, tell me, you guys tell me. I mean, I know there's Liam Cohen on there. I know that there's other names out there. And let me tell you something. I think we had requested Liam Cohen, but there's nothing has been set on that yet. And that kind of surprised me a little bit. I mean, Bucks has been out, we're going on the second week now. You know, Bucks are out of the playoffs, and yet we have not put anything together as far as an interview with Liam Cohen. I don't know. Y'all tell me. My boy Troy says, man won Super Bowl and he can beat Jim Harbaugh and Peyton and play with Reed. Exactly. If y'all didn't know, this is Jim Harbaugh's kryptonite, Pete Carroll. They've had rivalries going back to the collegiate years. Look it up. He's beaten Jim Harbaugh multiple times, and going up like a man like him, you would like to have Pete Carroll under the helm for sure, 100%. My guy Alan says Ryan Day, Ohio State next Raiders head coach. I don't know about that. Obviously, we're talking about people that either have been requested or are already on the list, right? So they've either been requested or been interviewed. So meaning they're on the list. He's not on the list. I don't know how viable that would be for sure, but obviously a couple other things, right? But before I actually go into that, this might be a thing where we might need to go ahead and interview more candidates. Obviously there are still some in the air. I talked about Liam Cohen, right? Another one is Todd Monken. Todd Monken just got eliminated on Saturday, right? Or yesterday, I should say. Sorry, he got eliminated yesterday, so now he's available. Imagine a Todd Monken coming in, right? That's an option, but nothing has been put in the books as of yet. And hopefully, now that Ben is not an option anymore, we can see something with Todd Monken being lined up for sometime this week. I would love to see that. And that's something that I've been trying to keep tabs every day on. If, when are you going to interview Todd Monken? Also, like I said, Liam Cohen is the other guy. There's nothing has been said about that, right? So, but we already interviewed Riverboat Ron and Robert Sala on Friday. I haven't really heard how those interviews went yet, but those are options, right? The whole situation with Robert Sala in New York was kind of messy, right? So, I mean, would he get another shot here? I don't know. That would be interesting. That would be interesting for him to come in and be the Raiders' next head coach. I would like to see him more as a defensive coordinator. I don't know if that would be quite a good fit for him to retake the helm. But if that were to happen, I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna be, taken to the street and with my torch and get ready to burn down, the Raiders headquarters out in Henderson. You know, but I would like to see him more. I feel that fit would be better as a defensive coordinator, and especially if you get our guy Pete Carroll, um, that would be a good fit. Uh, I might get my boy Rundown to go ahead and hop in just a second. Give me 1 minute, but yeah, I like him for that. I feel that he will be a better fit, um, as for him to go ahead and work with Pete again, because he comes from that tree. He comes from that Pete Carroll tree. You guys, let me know your thoughts on possibly Robert Sala coming in. What do you guys think about Todd Monken or Liam Cohen being uh, a candidate or possibly even coming in as the Raiders' next head coach? Definitely would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, for sure, 100%. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Is that we haven't really heard any certainty with Liam Cohen. Um, but I do feel that we might need to go ahead and add more names onto this list, and see where we can go ahead and uh, pull up from there as well. Um, but you guys let me know again. You guys let me know your thoughts on the chat. I put up that poll. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, as well as make sure you guys hit those thumbs up. Help to support the show, for sure, 100%. Um, yeah. So currently, the poll I put: will Pete Carroll be the next head coach for the Raiders? 79% says yes, he'll be the coach. Um, Out of 14 votes. So make sure I still have that poll open. So make sure you guys go ahead and tap into that poll, put your vote in. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on this, on Pete Carroll, possibly being the next head coach of the Raiders. Uh, my guy SoCal Sal says, I wouldn't mind Salah as head coach. I believe he got a raw deal with the Jets. Agreed. I feel like that situation there was just fucking messy from the get go. Um, Maybe he has another go around. If it's not Pete, because the other thing that you can say is that maybe Pete is a little bit out of touch, um, uh, with the NFL, with the offense. I mean, it could happen, right? Being out of the game for so long, shit changes constantly. So that being a possibility, uh, could be a reality. I mean, obviously, we stay with a defensive minded coach with Robert Sala, so I mean that definitely goes into appeasing like Max Crosby, having somebody like Sala in the building and being under him, um, goes does matter. So that is definitely an option. I just like him. Excuse me. I just like him as a possible DC candidate. That would be good. I feel like uh, that would definitely be a good option for sure. My boy Troy says we have an offensive coach. Pete is not the guy. Uh, Give me a second, y'all. We have an offensive coach if Pete is not the guy. Yeah, I mean, that's aside. I mean, you got Ron Rivera, you got Robert Sala. Those are defensive minded guys. The other guy would be like a Liam Cohen. Um, would be somebody who you can go ahead and bring in um, as a possible offensive coach. Todd Monken, again, waiting to see what happens with that. Hopefully we hear some news on him being lined up for an actual interview, because he's been requested, but nothing has been set as of like, hey, we're going to interview this guy on Friday, or we're going to interview this guy on Thursday. Nothing has been set on that as of yet. Um, My guy, salute to my guy Billy. Appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Thank you, thank you. He says, I say Pete or Todd from the Ravens. Agreed. Waiting on Todd for a date for Todd. So that's the thing. Tanner Jack, appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Can you imagine 75-year-old Pete as a coach? Man, this is the thing, brother. Like I just said it. Diaper Pete, this is the thing. Pete is proven, bro. Pete has done it multiple times. Pete's done it in college level with SC. Pete's done it in Seattle. This, if you want somebody to come in, because what it is, this is a rebuild. I don't give a fuck. You could call it, you could put a different term on it, spin it however you want. This is a rebuild. Okay. PC, PG is gone. He's gonna go somewhere else. I don't see Patrick Graham sticking around for another season. He might, but I don't see it happening. And if he does, maybe as a head coach, but even that hasn't been said yet, right? So I believe he's gone. The Turners are most likely going to end up going to North Carolina with Belichick. So who else? Because you got to still put an offensive coordinator together. You got to put a defensive coordinator. Who else to go ahead and do that than Pete Carroll? And like I said, if you get a talented offensive coordinator, a young, talented offensive coordinator to come in and pair him up with Pete Carroll and to be his successor, and when Pete is ready to go ahead and call it just call it already, call it a day, hang it up, whatever. This is a guy I want to go ahead and replace me moving forward. And I'm not mad at a situation like that. Yeah, my guy Troy says Andy Reid's old as fuck. Look what he's doing for exactly. This motherfucker's old as fuck, and he's doing the damn thing. Age should not really determine a factor on whether or not this guy should be the head coach. It's like whether or not can this man go out and build a team. And that's the thing. I feel like he can. He can. It's about that knowledge he has about going out like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out and get the best talent, the guys who are innovating the damn thing, and that's what you want to look for in a head coach, somebody who can, have the wisdom and the insights to know like, hey, this is a good move, this is a bad move. And he's done it. He's put teams together. I understand 63 and 75. It's a big difference. But nonetheless, the man is qualified. Tell me another guy who else can come in and do this. We lost Ben Johnson. Don't tell me Liam Cohen, because we haven't even put anything in the books or anything out there that he's gonna come and interview. He's not. My guy Jeff. Pete Carroll is known for his ability to relate with these young players. Just watch now how he acts around them. Yeah, the man was it. So he had a great interview on last Monday, and he was in the building for I don't know 2 or 3 hours, whatever. Talked to all these people from what's being put out there, and for somebody to go out and do that and have really good interview and talk to so many people, is that he's looking like he wants the job. It looks like he's being, if they're not interested, they're not going to go ahead and go in and waste their time. That's my thing. Pig says, appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Age was a big factor why Sabian, Bill, and P were let go. But look at Reed. Look at Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's old as fuck. If y'all tell me that fucking Pete Carroll is so fucking old, Jim Harbaugh is literally a walking corpse. The guy's having like open heart surgery like this next 30 days or something like that, from what I heard. I mean, come on now. Y'all gonna tell me that Pete Carroll, Pete Carroll might be in the better shape than fucking Andy Reid and fucking Jim Harbaugh. I feel like Jim Harbaugh is gonna go fucking have a heart attack, and Harbaugh and Reed are gonna have a heart attack on the field one day. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. My guy Basin, appreciate you for tapping in, SGV. Why can't we ever nice things? Fuck, exactly, bro. And me and Run, we're talking about this on the Saturday show, and I have the link posted up there. Make sure you guys tap in after the show. You know, we lit up Schefter and Florio because these motherfuckers were coming on talking some shit. Why Ben Johnson shouldn't come over to the Raiders, right? And I think that also had to play a factor in there, right? On why that kind of influenced a little bit on Ben Johnson's decision not to come to the Raiders. I mean, if you're having shit out there like this, where it's like this guy passed up on being the head coach of the Commanders and passed up on Jane Daniels, and look at him now. And now you're having to decide between the Bears and the Raiders, and where the Bears have Caleb Williams, Bears have some some cap space and all this shit. Um, I definitely think that had to play a factor. And Max going on his fucking show saying like, going on the fucking show saying like, hey, this, it's fucking eerie in the locker room. It's not helping the situation. You know what I mean? Like I said, y'all, when you're going out to look into your next job, you want to see how the workplace is, right? If it's a good workplace environment, if there's not a lot of drama, everybody gets along, you have perks, you have fucking lunch, that shit matters, right? And if you got your fucking star player and you got all these motherfuckers saying, like, why are you going to go into a fucked up situation where you had all this coaching carousel and they're pointing out all this bullshit? Come on now. Come on now. You know what I mean? So I think that also had to play a factor as well. Um, but my guy Pig says, I didn't want Jim. He's always destined to be a Charger. And that was probably a better situation for him. I don't know. But Pete Carroll is definitely, so y'all know, Jim Harbaugh's kryptonite. He's whooped that ass when they played against each other on the collegiate level. So my guy Jeff says Harbaugh is having a heart procedure and a hip replacement in the offseason already. Exactly. If y'all worried about the dude croaking, you should worry about like a guy like Harbaugh. Come on now. Come on. Jim played football. He took a lot of hits, had concussions. It is what it is. Yep. So, my guy Tanner says, with all these rumors today about Max being traded to 49ers, like I'm not worried about Max being traded at this moment, because guess fucking what? We have no GM and we have no head coach, right? Now the head coach, the GM situation, that's looking a little bit different. But I mean, after the shit that we had today, I'm not even sure about that, right? We talked about on Saturday that John Spytek was about to have his second interview, right? He's the assistant GM over in Tampa Bay, and you know, everybody is saying that he's looking like the front runner. But after today, after saying, hey, we were saying that Ben Johnson's a front runner, and look what fucking happened. I don't even know about Spytek anymore. I would love to have Spytek. I also like the guy from Green Bay, John Eric Sullivan, as a other possible GM candidate. Those two guys would be on the top of my list. And I would love to see them with the silver and black next year. I don't know if that actually does happen, but I think with the whole shit today, things have, it really shook my core. It really shook my core. And I think a lot of us feel that same exact way. Um, about what the fuck really is real. And you can't. Let me tell y'all something. You can't take anything that's being said until it actually happens, until the pen is to paper, till they sign to the dotted line. So I think we just have to be like, you know what, this guy might be the front runner, this guy might be the next guy, but we don't fucking know yet until it actually happens, right? Um, and that was the thing. We interviewed Ben, but we never got him to Vegas. We never got him in the building. We never started. We never played that fucking the autumn wind for him in the building. I think that would definitely been a contributing factor. You know, if having him see our facilities, having him, talk to Mark and Tom in person, that might have been the thing. We never had that opportunity. We never got that opportunity. We only did it um, uh, via Zoom virtually, and it sucks. I would have loved to have him in the building, for sure, 100%. Again, make sure you guys hit up that poll I put up there. Will Pete Carroll be the next head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? Currently, I have 75% of you guys reporting yes, he will be, with 25% no. 24 votes are currently in. So make sure you guys tap in, hit that poll really quick. Let's go ahead and go to the chat. And again, if you guys are new, appreciate you guys tapping in. Make sure you guys go ahead and check in, hit that subscribe button. I am trying to go ahead and get that 250 subscriber mark. So make sure you guys wipe your feet, turn on the notification, hit that subscribe button for me for sure. Hit those subs for all my ride or dies. Make sure you guys hit those thumbs and keep supporting the show. I appreciate you guys tapping in for sure, 100%. Let me see here. My boy Pig says Max is being real. He's James Conn from Rollerball. Oh man. Basin says Pete Carroll will run laps around our ass. There you go. Like I was telling my girl the other day, I'm like, that dude looks like he's in fucking shape. I feel he's in better shape than fucking Harbaugh. So the whole thing with his age, I think it is not a factor. What I want is I want somebody who could come in and put a fucking team together, a winning team. And that's what you get with Pete Carroll, somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing because they've done it already. They know the blueprint. And that's the thing. You want somebody who can build a team together for you. My guy Troy says Ben Johnson used Tom Brady to get the Bears up the money. I see that partly true, but from what it sounded like, the money was never an object to us. So I'm pretty sure we outbidded Chicago. I I don't know if more money's gonna be, because Ben hasn't signed yet. It's a verbal agreement, like, hey, I'm gonna come with you. This season is done. So he can always change his mind to Chicago. Will it happen? I don't think it'll happen. I think it's 95% that signing that's going to happen, right? Especially now with, like, you got Dennis Allen coming over. I mean, that'll take a fucking act from God that will have Ben coming over to the Raiders at this point, but it could happen. Doubt it though. But I don't think the money was an issue. Maybe he could have used leverage from the Bears. Like, hey, if you give me, like, if you're making 90, 92, whatever, I'll come over. Though it might be a lesser amount than what we offered. It just, whatever the pitch was to Ben, obviously him being relatively close to Detroit plays a factor. Having Caleb Williams plays a factor. I'm not surprised about that. So, but I don't think the money part from our end played in a factor, because from what it sounded like, Mark was ready to go ahead and open up his checkbook, give him the check, be like, look, you put in the number, that'll be the number. And having no tax, state tax in Nevada, shit, that's getting more money, because all you got to pay is Fed. You don't have to pay your state tax. Shit. I mean, come on now. Pigs, I respect Kingsbury for focusing on the playoff, not his future. All right. Ed Dobbs for GM is my choice. I don't know. Could it be a possibility? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not mad at that either. If Ed Dobbs comes over as a GM, I think it's Sullivan and I think it's Spytek currently right now as your two front guys. But I don't know. Let's see what happens. Salute to my guy Dixon. Appreciate you for tapping in, brother, for sure. Um, uh, Tanner says, "We'll get there. It will get there. They are sports city now. I don't know. I mean, obviously, in a some position as we are, um, they're not having to do like a full rebuild, but definitely, offensively, yes. But as far as them, I don't know. We don't know yet. Uh, Let's see here. Todd, these podcasts don't even know share about quite about listening. Okay. All right, man. Uh but I mean again, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts on Pete Carroll about what happened today with Ben Johnson. Signing over with the Bears. Um and who else should we interview? Because that's another thing. I feel like maybe this is something where we still have to keep on that search. We still have to go ahead and interview more guys, right? It's down now. More guys are freed up. Ravens are out. Um, Lions are out. I mean, it looks like Aaron Glenn's probably going to go to New York. I don't see him coming over here, right? That's somebody we did interview. Then you got uh, you had what's his name? A few people from that team. Let me go back to my list here. I know we had an interview with Vance Joseph. I don't see that as being an option as well. I think that was kind of more of a reading rule type thing. Um, but yeah, Vance Joseph, I don't see that happening. Um, and Ron Rivera. I don't like Ron Rivera coming over to the Raiders. I don't see that as a good fit. But you saw Vance Joseph. He's a DC over at Denver. I don't see that happening as well. But yeah, you guys let me know who you guys thoughts on the next head coach would be. Now that we know that Ben is not our guy, he's gone for sure, 100%. Um, like I said, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. By act of God, uh, that Ben comes to Vegas. I don't know. I don't see that, but um, yeah, let me go ahead and hit up that chat for sure. My guy Dixon says, I feel like we have to go for Pete Carroll at this point. Agreed. Um, I think he's the best of all the candidates we've interviewed so far, right? He has experience. He's proven. He's done it in the collegiate and then in the NFL. So I think he's the guy. I think he might be the one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, but um, yeah, Pete did get fired from Seattle, and um, it was it's a little bit of fucked up situation, but he was there for a long time, and if this is something where we were saying that we need to have longevity in a coach, I mean, Pete Carroll is going to be the best guy for that. You know, obviously there'll be a successor at some point, right? And that's where I say that's where he needs to be paired up with a young offensive coordinator um, that could come in and be under Pete for those 3 4 years 5 years whatever, right, that he's on as the head coach and then eventually takes over. um, you know, it definitely could definitely happen. Um, my guy Dixon says, I still like to interview Mike McCarthy. I wouldn't mind him being on the list. I don't know if that would be necessarily a good fit for the Raiders, but I definitely don't mind him being on that list. I think we got to explore, every avenue. You're doing your due diligence. You got to get this right. I've said it again and again and again. Um, it looks like the Raiders, Tom Brady and Mark Davis, are doing exactly that. So you can't cut yourself short, and not interview, any good potential candidates. I mean, a lot of people were saying that Mike McCarthy was going to land in Chicago. Look what happened now, right? So maybe Mark McCarthy gets put on that list. We might see something in the next day or two where we see Raiders requested to interview Mike McCarthy, or Mike McCarthy will interview with the Raiders on Wednesday or some shit like that. Don't be surprised, y'all, because it definitely could happen. Agree. Got to do your due diligence. Facts, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He ain't my number one choice, but he's worth an interview. You got to work. You might hear something, or he might come up with something that will impress you. Because look, that situation in Dallas, obviously is not wouldn't be the same situation here. It depends on what what they go ahead and kind of offer Mike. If they offer Mike to have more control, and says, look, over there, that situation, I was kind of handcuffed. I couldn't do so much. Jerry had his fucking hand on certain things. And if this is something where him and where Mike and Tom see eye to eye to a lot of things, this might be the better fit. Definitely could happen. You can't rule that out. So I would like to see Mike go ahead and come in and do an interview with Tom and Mark, because it might be that. It might be just that situation in Dallas was just not a good situation for Mike McCarthy. And he just couldn't do he couldn't do a lot of things that he wanted to do, because Jerry Jones had the finger, yeah, he had his finger in his hand and everything. So he was handcuffed. You never know. It might be that. So we'll see. My guy Tanner says Brady's finding out it's not easy being a Raider. Yep. I mean, but let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you how this. Tom even made that whole Ben Johnson situation viable. He's the one that even had Ben Johnson taking the interview. He talked to his agent for an hour and convinced Ben to come in and do that interview. Do that interview virtually when it happened. He never came into the building, and I wish we had that chance to bring him in and do that in person interview. But we weren't even on Ben Johnson's radar, to be honest with you. That's what a lot of the insiders were saying, that we weren't even in Ben Johnson's fucking thought process until Brady talked to his agent. So, I mean, this is a setback. And we knew that Ben Johnson, being the hot commodity that he is, was always, he was going to go somewhere. We just didn't know whether it's going to be us, whether it's going to be Jacksonville, with, now Chicago, and now we know what happens now, right? Where that lies. But Ben was always going to be highly sought to for us to be in the mix and to be a front runner, to be talked about in that aspect. That's Tom. That's the Brady effect. So it's just going into plan B. You still got to do your due diligence, I believe. I think you still go ahead and interview other people, but I don't know. Again, you guys let me know your thoughts on this. Quick check to the current poll. I'm about to end this poll in just a second, so make sure you guys go ahead and cast in your votes if you haven't done already. Will Pete Carroll be the next head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? 74% say yes, 26% say no, with 32 votes. currently casted in. Appreciate you guys, um, putting your votes and casting your thoughts on that poll. Appreciate you guys. I'm about to end that in a second. I'll post one more in just a bit. But Troy says, Big Mike McCarthy is a good catch and offensive coach. It's not a bad thing. I don't know if he would be a necessary good fit, and I say this for seeing what he's done with the Cowboys. That's where that's coming from. But again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes over there in Dallas. We can make a good assessment. Being Jerry Jones, being the type of owner that he is over there. My guy Dixon says working under Jerry Jones ain't easy. Facts, brother. I agree. Having him as an owner over there, and owner GM, because there's not a real GM over there, would be hard. It's hard. So I think he was handcuffed to a lot of things that he wanted to do, that he couldn't do. That could have been it. So having him come in and do an interview, you never know. There might be some things where he sees eye to eye with Mark and Tom that might change that perspective, and might be the next guy in Las Vegas. We don't know. We've seen that he's been able to take those guys to the playoffs, but always fucking falls short, right? And that's that's what the fucking Cowboys are known for. But maybe Jerry Jones is this guy getting in the fucking way of that. Definitely could be a possibility. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. But again, appreciate you guys tapping in. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. As usual, if you're new to the show, appreciate you guys tapping in. Welcome. Just make sure you guys check and hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 250 subscribers. Keep supporting the show. Appreciate everybody on the show today. Thank you again. Make sure you guys let me know your thoughts on the current situation. Again, if you guys are joining the show, I broke a couple of breaking news. Another thing, Ben is signing Dennis Allen as his defensive coordinator. So that's another thing. We all know Dennis Allen can't coach for shit, but defensively, he's pretty good. So he's going to be joining the Bears over there with Ben Johnson. So he's already, and like I said, whoever the next head coach is, got to hit the floor running. You got to start signing all these people because you got to get ready for free agency. Literally in about 30 days or less. So you got to put that whole your whole coaching staff together, right? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, all that stuff. You got to put that all in place. So I'm not surprised about that. Having him come on, and maybe that was a thing too. This is like Dennis Allen not wanting to come here, and rightfully so. I think we're good from that, and having Dennis go to Chicago might be a better situation for him, and that's fine. I'm not mad at that. Appreciate my guy Jose tapping in. Thank you, brother, for watching. Maybe it'd be a difficult challenge to finding a new coach for the Raiders, and only get about a year. Obviously, man. I mean, if whoever's going to be the next guy, especially being having it be Tom, it was going to be a long-term scenario. It's not going to be for a 1-2 year type thing, and especially for having a guy like Ben Johnson, you're not going to come in on a 1 or 2 year deal, right? Even though if you're getting like an 8-year contract, you get clipped the first 2 years in, that's not a viable scenario, right? Obviously, there has to be there. I'm pretty sure that subject came up, and reassurances were probably made like, hey, you know what, this is going to be a long-term thing where we're going to have you here for 4 or 5 seasons, and then we can go ahead and kind of reevaluate where we're at. You got to give the next guy time to go ahead and put a team together. That's basically what it boils down to. And if you can't put a good team together, then if you don't give them time to go ahead and put a good team together, then what the fuck is the point? Obviously. But the whole revolving carousel, I think now that Brady's in, that's gonna end. They're not really gonna look at that part. Um, so um, having him come in for a year, no, no, that definitely would not have been an option. So let me go ahead and share this real quick. Share this poll. I'm about to put another poll in just a second. And I appreciate everybody's interaction, and everybody go ahead and cast in their opinion, for sure. Hang on one second. Let me pull this up a different way. And I'm about to put another one in just a second as well. But I asked everybody, um, will Pete Carroll be the next head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? And 72% of you guys said yes, he will. 27% said no, with 37 votes being casted. I appreciate you guys tapping in and putting your votes in. I'm about to put in another vote in just a second. So make sure you guys get ready for that one. Again, make sure you guys go ahead and share your thoughts, share your questions. I'll put that up on the chat, on the show, so that way we can go ahead and talk about it. Let me get you guys the next question ready here. So make sure you guys vote for that. All right. There you go, y'all. So I got another poll for y'all. Make sure you guys tap into that. And let me know your guys' thoughts, and I'll share those results in just a bit as well. And I know the game's going on right now, so we're about to wrap this up in just a bit. But yeah, right now, it's looking like Pete Carroll is going to be the guy. Uh, as far as a front runner, Pete Carroll right now is a current front runner. He had a really good interview on Monday, like I said earlier, and we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if there's any other names that are being announced sometime this week. I hope to see Todd Monken's name being actually put on the books for something this week, where we can actually say, hey, he's going to be interviewed on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. And we can actually, put him under consideration. I would like to see him be also a top choice for the Raiders. If it's between Pete Carroll and him, I would love that scenario. I don't know. I might still go with Pete just because he's already done it, but I'm not mad at Tom Lincoln either. So, that's another thing. Liam Cohen, I would like to see something definitely in the books with Liam Cohen. Nothing has been announced as of yet. I'm still waiting for that to go ahead and to happen. Again, you guys let me know your thoughts on Todd Monk and Liam Cohen being interviewed. Should they be interviewed? Should they not? Should we look at somebody else? You guys let me know your thoughts for sure, 100%. We still have the GM. We still have the GM candidates as well. Obviously, Spy Tech. That second interview is going to happen pretty soon. John Eric Sullivan was interviewed. They still have Mike Borghese, Terrence Gray, and Alec Halaby. I don't know if Halaby will be interviewed quite yet, because obviously they're still in it. and Terrence Gray. They're still in it. But those are good candidates currently. Sheldon White was another one, and Chad Alexander of the Chargers. But really, another thing. I know I have Ray Agnew, but Brian Flores hasn't been mentioned for any of you guys for the Raiders. So maybe that's another guy we go ahead and explore. Um, um, possibly as well. Ray Agnew, I don't see that happening. Obviously, with Ben Johnson going over to Chicago. If something happens with Ray Agnew, it's probably going to go to Chicago. But obviously, the whole Ben Johnson, a Henry Hooker scenario is dead as well. But at least these are the current guys that were on the list as of right now. Obviously, we'll see what happens. But Agent Smith, why not Belichick? He ain't coming, bro. That dude's gonna stay in North Carolina. The contract buyout's like 10 million to buy him out. I think it goes up $1 million per month or something like that after July. I don't know the specifics of it, but for sure, $10 million buyout to buy Belichick's contract, and most Raider Nation does not want Belichick. They don't want that Patriot 2.0 way. For sure, Mark doesn't want that. We tried it with McDermott. That was an utter failure. And I think too, the reason why Mike wasn't even considered was because Mark didn't want that Patriot way again. And hearing the thoughts that he wants to go ahead and bring Josh McDaniels back to the Patriots, definitely not something that we want as a fan base. We're trying to go ahead and move on from that. We knew that experiment didn't work, and to have that man back in the building, no, definitely would not be a good fit. Fidel, salute to you, brother. Appreciate you for tapping in. Telesco messed up by not signing Kingsbury last year. Yes, facts. Literally was offer him one more year on the contract, but also too is the fact that I don't think we could get a guarantee that we could have gotten Jane Daniels, right? Or Caleb Williams. So not being able to guarantee any type of quarterback, I'm pretty sure that also had a lot to do with him not coming over and being part of the Raiders, right? Um, because that obviously that's a key selling factor for him. Um, having Janie Dad. Look at what they're doing now. These guys are playing in the fucking NFC Championship game next weekend, or this weekend, I should say. That's a big fucking thing, right? He played it. He played his card right. He knew what the fuck he was doing. He knew that he needed a fucking talented quarterback, and if the Raiders couldn't guarantee one, he's not going to waste his time. That's basically what happened. He didn't waste his time. He stayed away. He went over to Washington, and look what they're doing now. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. And that aspect is panning out. So I don't know. Little Jeff, appreciate you for watching, brother. Give me Salah or give me death. Man, my guy Jeff New England Boosters is bring back Tom Flores. Really, that's if y'all worried about age, that dude literally is like almost 100 years old in a wheelchair. I think I saw a Pete Carroll edit with him with a Raider sweater and a wheelchair, and that would definitely be Tom Flores for sure, 100%. Yeah, they're gonna have to roll with him in his wheelchair. Yep, exactly. Oh man, but Again, you guys let me know your thoughts on the whole Ben Johnson situation. Who would you guys like to see the Raiders go ahead and interview this next week? Because I believe that um, that's where it's going to take again to go ahead and continue the process. Uh, um, to go ahead and literally find the next guy. You know, continue doing the due diligence, continue interviewing candidates. Obviously, I said a few names, so those guys are still top of the list. We definitely want to go ahead and interview those guys for sure, 100%. Um, Really quick, I'm going to go ahead and go over the current standings on the poll I just did. Should the Raiders interview one more candidates? 91% says yes, 9% says no out of 11 votes. So make sure you guys go on there and cast your vote. Let me know what you guys think about that. I definitely think we should continue interviewing. It does no harm. Obviously, we do have to eventually um, get that wrapped up. But there's still some guys out there that would definitely like to go ahead and interview. Obviously, Liam Cohen, Todd Munkin being one of those guys. I definitely wouldn't mind um, getting Brian Flores to come in, Mike McCarthy. Those are the other two names that I said out there. Again, uh, if you guys, I'm gonna ask you guys this question, right? And you guys let me know your thoughts on this. You know, would you guys like to see Mike McCarthy to be interviewed? That's another question. That's a legitimate name to throw in the ring. Is that would you like to go ahead and see Mike McCarthy come in and take an interview with us? I don't know. I wouldn't mind. Like I said earlier, I mean, we really don't know how that situation in Dallas really was. It could have been different for all I know. You know, it could have been something where he didn't have a lot of control and wanted to do certain things and he wasn't able to because Jerry Jones fucking thought it was a bad idea or whatever. So I don't know, right? Um, but I mean, you got now that we know that the situation in Chicago is taken care of, you know, that leaves Mike McCarthy and us to go in and possibly interview him. I don't mind. I want to be mad at that. Um, and to find out, if let's say let's say if that in let's say if that hire happens for a specific reason. He must have said something. He must have aligned with the thoughts, with the same thoughts that Tom and Mark have, right? There must have been something that was going on in Dallas that wasn't working. And you could tell that Mike McCarthy wasn't happy in fucking Dallas. You can see it in his fucking face, right? Um, all those years. He was there for a very long time. So if you want another guy, you want a younger guy who's done it, who's been to the playoffs, Mike McCarthy would be a guy, right? Um, so I don't know. That you gotta go ahead and go through those avenues and check those guys off on the list and see what happens, right? Mike McCarthy is not a bad one. Um, because again, we don't know the situation that was going on in Dallas. It could have been a good situation, but my guy says, Arnie, what do you think? We get Liam Spy Tech instead? I don't know, and that's the thing. I hope that Liam gets put on the books for something solid this week, where we hear the Raiders will interview Liam Cohen on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or whatever, some day like that. But nothing is said as of yet, and Buck's been out for going on the second week, and that's the thing, and that's a little thing that concerns me. I don't know if maybe they're not really looking at him hard, but because um, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like the Raiders put in all their eggs with Ben, but it also does. So where the fuck do we go here from now, right? You have Pete, but um, we still have other guys on your list that haven't come in for interviews. So you got to get those guys buttoned up. You have to bring them in for interviews. So I would like to see him on the list. I wouldn't. I'm not mad at that pairing, but hopefully we get to see him come in. Um, Arnie says the only reason why I don't like Pete Carroll is he needs a succession plan. Yes, exactly. So that's the only thing, and I said that, and I agree with you on that for sure. You got to get uh, Pete Carroll a successor, right? So that's where you bring in a young, talented offensive coordinator to come in, somebody that you can groom to be your successor after, I wouldn't say 2 years. You got to let him cook for longer than that. I think like a 4-year plan where he comes in and takes over, or whenever Pete's ready to go ahead and hang it up and call it. That's where he comes in and says, you know what, I had this guy as my offensive coordinator. Look how we've done. We've been on runs. We've had winning seasons. I want this guy to go ahead and take over. This is my recommendation. This is why we put him in place, and maybe that's how it happens. So, but he can definitely put a team together for you. That there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. He's done it at USC. He's done it in Seattle. So. Um, Putting the team in place is not the hard part. I think what everybody's concerned is the age, right? Like how long is he really going to stick around? But like I said earlier, it's like you got to worry more about Jim Harbaugh fucking croaking on the sideline than you do Pete Carroll. That's the reality of it. But I don't know. Um, I wouldn't be mad if we get McCarthy instead of Pete. I think you have to interview Mike McCarthy. See what pans out from that interview. You never know. You might learn something. You might find out something that impacted his coaching in Dallas, and that's the bottom line. So I think you have to interview. You have to go ahead and entertain that avenue. I don't think you dismiss it for sure. But yeah, looks like we're about to go ahead and wrap it up pretty soon, guys. Um, and let me go ahead and again check back into the current poll. You haven't put in your votes for the poll. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that on the chat. Should the Raiders interview more candidates? 93% says yes, 7% says no. 15 votes currently casted in for sure. My guy Sal says no to McCarthy. He had Rodgers and Dak, was run out of the building. He didn't start off fast. The nation would want him out after a year. The nation would want out anybody after a year that's not named Ben Johnson. Um, that's my take on it, and that's why I've been um, preaching that we need to have patience, and we need to let these guys put a team together. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen in 1 year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. This is going to be something where it does take some time. It's probably we're not going to really see the results of that until like year 3. To be realistic, um, for us to say that we're going to go to the playoffs next year would be hard. Maybe it would happen with Ben Johnson, but obviously that's gone, right? So whoever is going to be the next guy, whether it's going to be Pete, it's going to be Mike, or whoever the fuck else, right? It's going to take some time because it's literally you have to rebuild the whole fucking offense, and that's the thing. Whoever we bring in, um, they have to accept the fact that we don't have an option at quarterback currently because AOC is not the guy, right? AOC is not going to be your long-term solution. Um, so that also we got to keep that in mind, guys. So whoever we bring in has to be okay with that. Hey, we don't really have a fucking plan at quarterback. We have AOC, we have Minshew because he's still under contract, so you guys know. Most likely he's going to get cut. He hasn't gotten cut because there's nobody to cut him yet. That usually comes from your GM or your head coach, right? So that's why he's still there. And then you have Ritter, 3 guys, right? 2 backups, literally 3 backups in the building. None of them starters. So is not a good situation. Could that also taken could Ben Johnson also taken that into consideration when making his decision today? I'm pretty sure it fucking did, right? Because there's no real option with AOC or at quarterback. It's facts. I don't care what you say, Jeff. AOC is not the guy. Come on, get up out of here, bro. I love you, man. I'm just kidding. But he's not our guy, bro. He's not our guy. We know it. You know it. Bottom line, he might be that bridge quarterback, but that's how he's going to be. Obviously, we all damn well know Minch is gone, right? It's just a matter of time. The clock is ticking on that guy. So he ain't gonna be one. I heard talks of him possibly even going back to Indianapolis. I don't know, right? But he's not our guy. Ritter, he's not gonna be our guy either. So he gets clipped. He was just a plug, a band-aid, because we had AOC go down and Minshew was already out for the season. So don't see him coming back. We saw how god awful Ritter plays. Definitely not a guy. So we don't have an answer at quarterback. So we have to pitch that some way somehow to the next guy, right? Like, hey, I know that we want you to come in and interview, but we really don't have an answer at quarterback currently. Just so you know, it's hard. It's hard to get somebody really good to come in and be like, okay, I'm okay with that. I know I'm gonna have to rebuild the whole offense, from top to bottom, essentially. So I don't know. Hit the sick. Appreciate you for tapping in, brother. I think it's gonna be Pete Carroll as our next head coach. That shit, 100%. I agree, man. It looks he's the front runner for sure. And like what we're saying earlier is that I think they need to interview a few more guys. Some guys that we've been throwing names out that haven't been put in the books for interviews yet. Todd Monken, Liam Cohen, throwing out Mike McCarthy because a lot of people thought Mike McCarthy was going to land in Chicago, and look what happened, right? That's out the window. So maybe we bring him in for an interview. We find out what really happened in Dallas. Maybe it was just a lot of shit that Jerry Jones was meddling in, and not letting the guy cook. Could definitely be something like that. We don't know for sure. Appreciate big one of 83. Appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Pete Carroll, Brian Flores. Yep, gotta get Brian Flores in the building to go ahead and interview. That name has not been put out there yet. I'm a little surprised, but maybe that happens this week. I do hope that happens this week. Let me know who would you guys think? Who would you guys want the Raiders to go ahead and interview as well? That is another thing too, is that there's more guys out there, right? Now more guys are done for the season. So who comes in and become who do we interview this week as well, right? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who we interview for sure. But obviously, you got what's his name from the Rams, Mike LaFleur. That'll be another option for offensive coordinator. If you pair him up with Pete Carroll, I'm not mad at that either. So it could be a scenario just like that. Just like that. Again, I'm gonna put one last pull up, and after that, we're gonna call it. But I'm gonna tell you the results of this one right now, and let me go ahead and pull post that up. All right. So out of 20 votes, the question was, should the Raiders interview more candidates? 90% says yes, we should definitely go ahead and interview more candidates. And then 10% said no. Out of 20 votes casted in. Let me go ahead and show you guys this really quick. Appreciate you guys interacting with the chat. So 90% says yes, 10% says no out of 20 votes. I'm put the uh, last poll up. And I think since we're talking about it and some people will express opinion, I feel that we should vote on it. And I'm gonna tell y'all, should the Raiders uh, interview Mike McCarthy? So go ahead and go on to the poll, y'all. Cast your vote. Let me know what you guys think about that. Should the Raiders bring in Mike McCarthy for an interview? I am very interested in that response, and I will share that before I go ahead and sign off for sure, 100%. My guy Arnie says, I'm frustrated with Mark Davis. Every year there's some old thing, new coach, new GM, same mediocrity Raiders. How desirable is our head coaching position? Facts, Arnie. I agree with you. It's a very difficult thing to go through this fucking carousel year in year out, almost, right? We're having to go ahead and search for this one all messiah or savior that will come in and really return our Raiders back to greatness. Um, and I feel now that we have Tom Brady, that might change, right? Because it looks like the Raiders are shifting gears because normally we interview two or three guys who make a decision. We've interviewed, I don't know, at least 5 to 6 guys for this head coaching position, for this vacancy. Having Ben Johnson being the front runner, right? That didn't pan out. That didn't work out. But now we're talking about Pete Carroll and some other guys coming in and interviewing, and we're talking about Pete Carroll being the front runner currently for the next head coaching position of the Las Vegas Raiders, right? So I think things are being done differently. I think the next move, the next hire, is going to be a hire where they stick around for at least 3 to 4 or 5 years. Is not a not a 1 or 2 season type thing. I think they're going to be here for at least 4 or 5 years. And like we were saying earlier, yes, if it's Pete, then there has to be a successor plan in place, right? I think that's always going to be in the back of his mind, like when I'm ready to hang it up and go right off into the sunset. There has to be somebody that can come in and uh, you know take over and fill in my shoes, as you should say. So hopefully that's the case. My guy, Big One of 83, he says, I think we went to the Bears. I think he went to the Bears because we're going to give him more of a shot than we are, and they have a quarterback that's Ben Johnson. Yep. Um, I think yes, you're right. They have quarterback already in place, right? So they already have Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was mismanaged this past season, right? But with Ben Johnson, that definitely is going to turn around. So having some capital, having the opportunity to go ahead and have control over there and do things his way is it definitely played a part plus being offered almost $100 million contract that also has a lot of things to fucking do with it as well. And it's a long-term thing. It looks like it's going to be like an 8 or 9 year thing where he's with the Bears. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I know with money that, excuse me, that is, my nose is itchy, that didn't play a factor here. Because it looks like we had a blank check for him, but the quarterback scenario also probably was the key thing here that maybe ultimately decided Ben whether or not he was going to stay or he was going to come or go over to the Bears. That definitely could have been a thing. Brady is planning on having a tank job. Michigan starting a quarterback. Same rosters. Don't spend money. Finish 2-5 for. Do you let me tell you this? Do you really want another year of having a shitty record? For what? For what? For draft picks? No, come on now. No, nobody. I think most of Raider Nation would not be behind. Would be behind on that plan to tank another season. I know I certainly wouldn't. I want to see some growth. I want to see something being built for the future, and I think most of us want. So I don't know. Um, Arnie says, "Leave no stone unturned. Everyone, facts, bro, facts for sure." Hard pass on McCarthy. There you go. Make sure you put it in the vote, brother. So I just say bring him in, interview him, see what happens, right? Shit. I mean, if a lot of us can be like, you know what, if teams come calling for Max, let's hear him out. Why not a guy like Mike McCarthy, right? You never know. You never know what the situation was in Dallas behind the scenes. We just know what we saw on the field, right? On TV and all that shit. But we don't know if Jerry had Mike clipped. We don't know that. He could have handcuffed them the whole time he was there. So it could have been a toxic work environment, and we know a lot about that. Uh a big one of eight direction right. Man, that's a good one. Arnie says, I still believe in bless draft best player available. Every round of draft plus trade players for more picks, start a rebuild from the ground up. And that will be something that the next head coach would go ahead and decide on. Um, if they trade up or they draft best player available, right? Um, that's a good question. I feel if it's a defense, if the next Raider head coach is, so for example, if it's Salah, if somebody defensive minded along those lines, they're probably going to try to go for Abdul Carter, right? That's even if he's available. It might be Will Johnson as their number 6 pick, so we don't know, right? If it's offensive, they might want to go up and get Shador or Cam, or they might wait to see if they fall at 6, and then if they don't, then go out and get an offensive player like T Mac if he's there, um, and then draft your quarterback in the second round. I did some mock drafts, and that's definitely a scenario where you can go ahead and get a Jackson Dart, Will Howard, um, you know, Dylan Gabriel in the second. So definitely could be that possible scenario, right? If your whole thing is not, I'm not going to trade up for draft picks, to trade up to get a quarterback, then it's going to be a scenario like that. So we'll see. Hit the 6 says we should bring in Todd Monken for interview. He should be a solid coaching candidate, that type of shit. Yeah, so I was saying earlier, we haven't heard anything yet. Nothing's been in the books. Hopefully, something gets put in the books this week. Now that they're out of the playoffs, he's able to come in and actually interview in person. And I hope that happens. I hope that is a route. And if he gets announced as the next head coach, not mad at that. 100% not mad at that. Because for me, it's him or Pete. So we'll see what happens. So why did we fire Telesco if we're not getting BJ? I mean, the whole thing was that we were trying to get Ben Johnson, right? And Telesco was not going to be part of that equation. He's not part of that equation. But you know, it was a thing where obviously it was a last minute thing where he went to Chicago and he got sold. Bottom line, we didn't get an opportunity to bring him here to Vegas to sell him on why he should be part of the Raiders, right? Um, and that's where it differs. But the whole plan was Telesco wasn't part of that equation from the get go. So I don't know. SoCal says they pushed their chips in. They pushed all their chips in and lost. I don't know if they pushed all their chips in because you see all the people they have interviewed. They interviewed a fuckload, right? I was obviously there were some people that on that list were like, I don't know about that one, right? Vance Joseph being part of that list, we're like, Spagnuolo, right? Being also part of that list. I don't know if that would have been our guy, but I mean, this is good insights also to what your rivals are doing currently. So you have to also interview those guys because you want to get a sneak peek onto kind of what they're doing over there in their respective teams, right? But yeah, I don't know. Um, it's that type of thing. We have Pete as a front runner, so that goes in because I've said it before. Ben Johnson was 1A. Pete for me is 1B. Todd Monken is number 2. I don't know. If Todd Monken's the guy, great. I'm all for it. Let's fucking do it, right? But if he's not, that's cool too. If they decide to go with Pete, I don't know. That time will tell, and hopefully we'll find out this week. Hopefully we hear more names being announced to interview. We don't get a head coaching candidate. I see realistically us naming a head coaching candidate by next week, early next week. But because we got to start wrapping this up, because we got to put a front office together, we got to put a coaching staff together, and the clock is ticking, y'all. The clock is ticking for sure. Big one of 83. Jerry Jones might have start talking about his Peter size, laughing my ass off. Arnie says Hondo says only first round quarterback Cam Ward. Everyone else are reaches Sanders, Dart, Milrow. That Raiders fan, appreciate you for tapping in, brother. This team will continue to be disappointed. We have a franchise quarterback. Who knows what that will be? Again, I think that's going to be dependent on who's going to be the next head coach. It goes it goes hand in hand. For the reason being is that if it's an offensive minded coach, they might try to go up and get a Cam Ward or Shador. I don't know. Or they'll go ahead and wait till the second round to draft their guy. Who knows? No, I am not about that, bro. Not about hiring coupon time. I know you are because you're all about coupons and shit. I'm not. I'm good with that, man. He didn't do nothing in free agency. What did he do? Don't tell me he brought in Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins was already on his way in. The only one I give him credit for was Chase on, bro, and Minshew. And that is 100% on him for bringing in Minshew. We know how that turned out. And Getsy. So, no, I'm good. Pete Carroll is a short-term head coach. Dude's like 75 years old. He is, well, depends what short-term is. For us, short-term is 1 or 2 years, right? And for us, long-term is like a 3, 4, 5 years, right? And for most other people out in the NFL, that's a short-term type thing. My thing is saying that if you bring in Pete Carroll, gotta pair him up with a young offensive-minded, young offensive coordinator. That would be good. That'll be your successor, right? So obviously, we'll see what happens, but that's my thought process: is that you pair him up with a young offensive coordinator, talented one. He learns under Pete for the next few years, and then he takes over, right? Especially if we start building a winning team again, and we start being a top contender, make the playoffs. A few seasons down the road. that could be the guy. That could be the guy. And look at Ben Johnson now, right? That's kind of where he started. He started under Dan Campbell, and boom, now he's going to be running the Bears. Sometimes that's what it takes, right? So, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But again, I appreciate everybody watching, everybody tapping in. Appreciate, salute to the chat, all my people. Make sure you guys check in, hit that subscribe button. I am trying to go ahead and get to 250 subscribers. Make sure you guys support the show, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications for shows just like this. Or when breaking news happens, I go live. Also, I'll be dropping those shorts. I dropped a short the other day. It was hilarious. I'm about to do one in a little while, so make sure you guys turn on notifications for those. It's fucking hilarious. And then also breaking news. I'll do a quick short reel for that, so make sure you guys are tapping in. Hit those thumbs for all my ride or dies. Hit those thumbs for sure, 100%. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Arnie says, good one. Jeff Coupon Tom had a great draft class. He did, but that's all he did. The guy could draft, but he's not an aggressive person. He really, where his strength lies is in kind of the scouting and having backups to the backups, right? So if this guy's not available, then I draft this guy. If this guy's not available, I draft this guy. That's kind of how he operates. But I don't know. I wasn't real Telesco fan. I'm glad we parted ways. To me, John Spytek looks like a better option. Obviously, he helps facilitate that Brady, then Gronk over to Tampa Bay. And look, they went on that Super Bowl run, so for sure. Short term, Pete Carroll with Salah at DC for future coach. What do you think? I'm not mad at that, bro. I'm not mad at that. I think that Robert needed some time to go ahead and kind of step away and maybe rethink things. If he comes in with Pete as a DC and he's there for 2, 3, 4 years under Pete again, because they've already worked together, they already have that continuity, they already have that relationship, and he gets the nod for the next head coach, I'm mad at that. That would be cool. That would be a good successor plan, and that's the shit. And that's something that because we talked about that, but that was something that I really didn't think about as well. For sure. Big one of 80. Pete Carroll is going to be the guy. Who do you bring in who can mentor for the future head coach? And that's a question. Who do you snag to come in and be an offensive coordinator? I know the name Mike LaFleur from the Rams has been thrown around. Maybe he'll be the guy. I don't know. That's a good question. You guys, let me know your thoughts on that. Who would you guys like to see? If it's Pete, who would you like to have Pete come in and bring in as a OC? I'm throwing my hand in the ring, Mike LaFleur. I like what he's done with the Rams. The whole game the other day. The only reason why they fucking lost is because of the fucking elements, right? They literally came back and fucking made it a game. I was like, oh shit, these guys might fucking pull it off in Philly against a hostile Philly crowd on top of that. So I don't know. That's crazy. My guy Alec, appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Thanks for watching. Hire GM Spytek, then get best coach possible. It might look that way. I don't know. We'll see. Tom is not great at free agency. Coupon Tom, yeah. He's not great at free agency. Papa T, appreciate you for watching, brother. Thank you for joining the chat. Are we going to lose Graham? Most likely, yes. He did not sign his extension, and I think he did a few interviews already. Cincinnati being one of those teams he possibly goes to. So we'll see. We'll see where he lands, but I don't see him back. And he has not been mentioned for head coach for the Raiders. So Yeah, I don't think he comes back. So we'll see. One person that I hope gets considered for defensive coordinator is Robbie Leonard. So if Robbie gets a bump, that'd be a beautiful fucking thing. He already has that great relationship with um with Max and the guys, and he's a young defensive mind. That would be cool. That would be awesome. And so you guys know, so there's teams already that have gone out and requested Robbie Leonard to be interviewed, right? And we have rejected all those requests. So for the question whether or not Robert's going to stay or not, I think he stays with the Raiders. It looks like he is going to be part of that. At what capacity, we don't know. Um, so maybe he gets a permit. I don't know if he goes up to DC. Um, and I think that might be a question that gets left whoever comes in as a head coach to make that decision. That's why they probably haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet. Obviously, if they were like, well, you know what, we don't know if they're gonna stick around or not, they wouldn't have been denying all these requests. So for the Raiders to really to deny other teams from interviewing him, that gets to show that he's part of those future plans as well. Alex says, looks like Graham is probably out the door. Yep. Salah at DC, would love to have him as DC. Like already said, having Pete and Salah, we've said that, but possibly having Salah as a successor down the line, not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Um, Will Howard and Trey Henderson looking good to draft. I like him. I don't rule out Will Howard, 6'4", tall quarterback playing that game. So I'm about to watch that in a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Yep. Alex says, yep, they hired Rob Ryan as their linebacker. They hired him as the linebacker coach. That's what it is. I don't know if it's assistant head coach. Maybe they put that title on him as well. I'm not sure. Papa says, I don't have a problem with Pete Carroll as long as we get a young OC and DC. Facts, bro. Facts. Mike LaFleur, I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but he could definitely be another option as well. So we'll see what happens. That Raiders fan, Salah will be most likely to go back to the Niners. I heard that too. So it could be up for grabs. I mean, if he has the ability to go and work with Pete Carroll, somebody who he was under, who's had a great relationship, I think we might win that one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That all is contingent on Pete Carroll being named the next head coach of the Raiders. So, yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens there for sure. Let me go ahead and go to that poll I put up, and that's a hot poll, y'all. Make sure you guys, if you haven't voted already, make sure you guys casting your votes for that poll. I asked, should the Raiders interview Mike McCarthy? 67% said no. And 33% of you guys said yes, we should interview Mike McCarthy. 21 votes in currently. We're about to wrap up the show in a few minutes, so make sure you guys hurry and put in your votes. I will put it at the end of the show before I sign off. So it is a good question. It is a hot topic. So make sure you guys casting your votes. I'm actually a pretty surprised. A lot of you guys said no about Mike McCarthy. I feel y'all. I wanted to put it out there because again, Bears are really considering bringing him over. Right, he was probably one of the main candidates alongside Ben Johnson. Right, now that's already over and done with. Could Mike McCarthy come over and interview with us? Possibly. I'm gonna just tell you something. Don't be surprised if that name does get mentioned during the week. Okay. I won't be because you have to if your intent because it's either your intent's going to be to interview more candidates or you're going to name your candidate this week. It's one of the two things. But we definitely have to wrap this up by next week for sure. Because you gotta go ahead and put your staff together. Gotta go ahead and get ready for free agency. Literally right around the corner. Time flies, y'all. Because you got to do all these interviews. You got to make sure you get your right people in. Because it's not just the coordinators. You got to go ahead and hire all your coaches as well. So, there's a lot of pieces to this. And you got to also GM who's going to be your GM, right? So GM, head coach, and then start working on guys you're going to go ahead and sign in the off season. Go ahead and create a plan for the draft because now it's a new regime. So the whole thought process might change or it might not. Who knows? Um, we know that Mark really wants a quarterback. Suppose that's not the mandate no more, but I think we all know that it is. So who knows? Who knows? That's all questions and it's all decisions that the next GM and head coach have to make. So I don't know. Um, that Raiders fan Carroll won't be intimidated by Reed and Harbaugh, Peyton, and left exactly. And if you guys know, that is Jim Harbaugh's kryptonite for sure, 100%. Um, uh, Alex says a lot of league business still happening and that futures contract. Yep. Um, if Carroll is hired, we must get the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator positions right. Facts, 100%. Like I said, we said Robert Saleh, maybe Robbie Leonard gets the nod and gets bumped up to defensive coordinator. You never know. He is a young and talented up and comer. He might be the guy who go ahead and gets a nod to become the next defensive coordinator. Maybe he gets an opportunity. Who knows? That'd be a good question. Um, Papa says, I'm just going to ask, how long do you think till we hire our staff? Does that mean we'll settle for whoever takes the job? I don't think so. I think that so far we've interviewed quite a bit of people, right? I think we interviewed like 6 people, something like that. That's a lot. And there's still more names that are out there that we should interview. Todd Monken. We've requested an interview with him. It's just nothing's been put on the books. All we know is that maybe he wanted to wait until his playoffs were over, where he can start thinking about that, start focusing on that. I'll respect to him if he wanted to go ahead and just focus on the task at hand, is trying to get his team up to the Super Bowl, and we know that's already over for him, right? And so maybe this is now where we hear the Raiders will interview Todd Monken on sometime this week, right? I hope that's the case. I really do. Maybe that is the scenario, but who knows? Who knows? We still have Liam Cohen, another candidate, yet to be mentioned. Brian Flores, another name yet to be mentioned officially to come in and interview. So all these names are still yet to be interviewed. I think Mike McCarthy, we have that poll, another guy. If that's the route that you want to go through and do your due diligence, you gotta interview those guys. You at least have to interview Todd Monken. Can't ignore that guy. If you already went ahead and put the request in, and it got approved, and it's just not hasn't been put on the books, I don't know. But you got to do it. Got to do it for sure. Any word on Cohen? I like him. No, not yet. I think the request has been put out. Same thing, but nothing's been put on the books. So hopefully that changes this week. If that's the route that we're going to go in, if it is not, I feel like if we don't hear anything really by Wednesday, realistically Thursday, there's going to be an announcement of head coach. Because the time is wrapping up. Today's the 20th, y'all. Next week, next Saturday is February 1st. we already got to start putting a staff together by then. So clock is ticking. We got to get things moving. So um, if you're gonna interview more people, you got to start doing it now. Um, so we'll see what happens. Alex says, seems like we interviewed a bunch of possible GM candidates and picking their brains about info on other teams as well. Yeah, you got to do it. We did it also for example, with Spagnolo, with the Chiefs, Vance Joseph with San Diego, Chad Alexander with the Chargers. So we'll see what happens. You know, no, bro. Hold on. February 1st is not 2 weeks away. It's literally like next week. So next Saturday is February 1st. So I mean, it's what week and a half, whatever. I guess you could say 2 weeks, but I mean, you still the time. We're on Monday. We're on Monday night. If you're gonna go ahead and interview more guys, you got to do it this week. You got to do it by no later than Monday of next week, because then you got to go ahead and make your announcement so you can start putting a team together. Unless you're gonna interview somebody is still in contention, whether it's gonna be your Commanders or um, Philly, right? And I think the only guys uh, being considered for that is Alibi from Philly, and then what's it called? And then I forgot the other guy's name, but yeah, Alibi's still in contention. Um, Bills. We're interviewing the assistant GM or GM from the Commanders. Are we putting a request in for that? I saw that, and then I don't think it's anybody else from KC or the Bills. So there's not really too many people left. But yeah. So appreciate my guy Rafa tapping in. Rafa in the building. Appreciate you, brother, for watching for sure, 100%. Radio report saying they'll be interviewing Cohen. Bro, nothing. The thing with him and everything, he says a lot of shit, bro. So take it with a grain of salt. On the things that Rent says. I mean, I'll watch Rents too, and but I take literally like maybe 10% of what he says as a possible thing that actually is viable. But yeah, does it happen? Nothing has been said yet. I think we just put it on there. We put the request in, but nothing's been on the books. I would love to see that happen this week if we're still going to interview more candidates. We'll see what happens for sure. But yeah, Cohen probably staying around Florida. Yeah, I mean, this is his first year in Florida with Tampa Bay. So I don't know. I don't know if he actually decides to go ahead and go out and see about a head coaching position. I think it's been more of the kind of the fan base for that, but yeah, we'll see what happens. According to him, Ben Johnson was I think a lot of people were on that scenario, and because that we all feel in a certain type of way regarding what happened, right? Ben is not here. A lot of people call him the front runner, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I mean, he had a great interview with Tom and Mark, and you know, we thought it could be possibly a thing that would happen, right? I think we saw once that game in Detroit was over, we're like, all right, fuck yeah, Ben Johnson, here he comes, right? Nope, nope. He ended up going to Chicago. He did that interview, and they fucking sold him, and we didn't even have a shot to do that, and that was the fucked up part, that we did not have a chance to bring him out here, wine and dine that dude, and really pitch him and really sell him on why he should come to the Raiders. But it is what it is. You know, that deal is most likely going to go through. He hasn't officially signed as of yet. pen to paper. I should say it's a verbal type of agreement. Shit could happen. Shit could change. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Literally, probably 95% chance that he's the next Bears head coach, unless we come around and offer him the fucking moon or something. Money is not the issue, so it's something else that played into his decision making, and it has to be the quarterback situation. They just have a good quarterback situation. We don't. We have a fucking shitty one. We have a fucked up one. So I don't know, but um, did Cohen work with? No, he didn't. Cohen just came in, I believe, this past season. Um, that's it. From what I read, he was doing something else. I think he was in the college team in college with one of the teams out there working. So this is his first full year in Tampa Bay. So no, they don't have a relationship per se. The only relationship he has is with John Spytek because of Michigan and then in Tampa Bay. Yep. Big one of 83. It is also a fact that we fired head coaches very fast. Yes, we do. So that's the thing. I mean, he knows what time it is. He's not the guy's not deaf or blind. He can read. He listens to what's out there. Um, I'm pretty sure reassurances were made to him, so he can go ahead and know that this is not going to be if we don't see anything happen within 2 years, like you're out type shit. I'm pretty sure that question was asked. I mean, how could you not? Like, hey, if I can't turn this team around in 2 years, what is that going to look like? That's an honest and fair question. Any prospective client, any prospective candidate would ask, like, hey, you guys don't have a great track record of head coaches. What is that going to look like for me if I can't get it done in 2 years? Are you guys want something like quickly, or are you guys okay with building something long term? And I think now it's with Brady there. I think he's dropped some fucking knowledge. Like, look, motherfucker, you can't put a winning team together in 1 or 2 seasons. This is going to be a long term project where it's going to take about 3 to 4 seasons for you to really see the fruits of that labor really come to fruition. So I don't know. I think that Mark's mind has been starting to be shifted um, a little bit to his normal thought process. Like, look, if you can't get it done in a fucking year, then it ain't it. Obviously, with McDaniels, that situation was just toxic. He lost the locker room. None of the guys wanted to play for him. We saw that evident, and that's why that happened, right? Um, with AP was she's just gonna get a fucking winning season together. He was inexperienced. He wasn't the guy for the job, right? Whatever my feelings for that aside, he's just that's probably what their thought process is. Like, you know what, we're gonna do the things right. We're gonna clean house. We're gonna bring in the right people for this. We have to interview all these people. If they go out and get a consulting firm to come in and help them with um, their head coaching interviews. I mean, what does that tell you? That tells you that they're looking to go ahead and put the right person in place for a long time, not just get the next hot shot to come in and be here for a year or two. They're trying to go ahead and build something. So I don't know, but uh, Big One says, I can't be part of this microwave society. Everyone's success is 66. Facts, bro. Facts. And that's what I'm saying to everybody in the nation. Have patience, y'all. It's gonna happen. It's just we got to give these guys time to fucking cook and put shit together. They're not gonna get it right the first season, and shit can happen. We just had an injury plagued season that we just went through. We're literally half of our guys were out on IR. I mean, things like this happen. So you have to have patience. You have to have contingency. I'd rather see the carousel going through the coaches, the more like the lower level coaches, or maybe even the coordinators to get that part right than the head coaching part. Because usually once a head coach gets clipped, everybody's gone, and that's usually been the case, and that's why we're seeing all this frustration from Max and from everybody else, with like, it's a new year. I see new faces. Once we get something right, then you know we don't see these guys anymore. So for sure. Um, AP was done wrong because he went 5-4 with Champ. Kelly not with Telesco. Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco had his own agenda. Facts. We don't know. We knew that relationship between AP and Tom Telesco was not a good one. We saw that fractured. Just on the responses that AP had during his interviews, we saw that apparent. Him not having a winning season, going 4-13, plays a factor. I said that before. If he goes 2-15, 3-14, 4-13, it's going to be a hard case to have AP stick around as a head coach, even if you're trying to put a winning team together with Brady now in control. It's hard. It's hard to justify that. Could that also attribute to um, not having a good decision, a good option at quarterback? Yeah, too, because you won 4 games, right? You won those 2 extra games. Now you don't have the top 5 pick. Now you're sitting at 6 on the outside looking in. So that does play a factor as well. But I don't know. Papa says, I mean, the guy wants to stay long term. He gave you in 10 years, no emails, but he's still here. Yeah, I mean, he signed Gruden for the long term contract, and because of that sabotage by the NFL with the emails, he had no choice but to let him go, right? Because um, I don't think Mark wanted to let him go initially. I think it was a lot of pressure by the NFL, by the league, to get him out. Um, so um, I don't know if let me tell you something. Gruden hasn't even been mentioned as a candidate. I don't think he's gonna be mentioned as a candidate. I think that ship is sailed. I think it's like, hey, we've done it, we tried it. Um, it's just the thing that we have to move on from. So I don't know if Gruden comes back, but I don't see that happening. But I mean, at one point, he was there for a while, and it's starting to. I think it was already that was his third year, going on his third year, and things were cooking. And we went on that playoff run in 21. A lot of credit was given to Pasasha, and rightfully so. He did. He was the glue that held the team together in that time of chaos. You had what's his name, Arnett, with the whole gun thing, and what's his face, that got into that accident, killed that girl and her dog. I mean, it's just a god awful situation, and despite all that, they still made the playoffs. That's fucking insane, and almost got past the Bengals on top of that. So I don't know. There you go, Ruggs. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Henry Ruggs, with the whole Henry Ruggs situation, still held that team together. That was a crazy, crazy scenario. And yeah, we almost beat the Bengals, got screwed by that call, if y'all recall, in that playoff game. By I think Burrow went out of bounds, and they still called the touchdown. From that. So I don't know, but we came close to quite a few times. But either way, the point being is that um, whoever bring in, we have to give them at least 3 to 5 years to have a good team together, to build something that will, come to fruition and really be a success. I think we're in the right path, but who knows? Obviously, this is a curveball. We have to see what happens from there. But let me go ahead and share this really quick. Share this poll. I asked earlier, everybody, should the Raiders interview Mike McCarthy? 35% says yes, 65% say no out of 34 votes. Crazy, crazy, crazy. A lot of people are not behind Mike McCarthy. That's fucking hilarious. You guys crack me up. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this poll now. And let me go ahead and share it with you guys. So you guys go ahead and take a look. But that was pretty funny. Um, uh, pretty strong voting there. Pretty strong message. The Raider Nation does not want Mike McCarthy to even be considered as a head coaching candidate. But yeah, that's funny. I love that. I love that. Appreciate you guys voting. Appreciate all of you guys tapping in on this Monday night. As usual, if you are new to the show, welcome. Make sure you guys check and hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get to 250 subscribers. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, support the show. Also, turn on your notifications for pop-up shows, breaking news, any news-related shorts that I post up, or hilarious shorts in general. Make sure you guys have your notifications on for that as well. And then plus, you guys don't forget, I have that Saturday morning show, Good Morning Raiders, going down every damn Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. I just had rundown on my on the show the other day. And then I'm looking for a new guest for this Saturday. I have a couple names lined up, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know as soon as I got that booked up, squared away. And then plus, don't forget my Wednesday show with my guy Jeff New England Booster, my guy Cheeto Linus, and LV Raider 10, the Raider Connection, going down every damn Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. And we're going over this news. Then we'll go over the Ben Johnson news, and then anything else that hits from now to then, for sure as well. So make sure you guys tap into that. I'm about to sign off in a moment, but just want to go ahead and go over the last couple things. Couple of chats in the chat for sure. I don't see a problem with at least interviewing him. Papa says, facts, bro. I agree. You gotta explore your options. Just see even what this guy says. You never know. They might align on some shit that we're not privy to. We don't know how the relationship in Dallas went. Obviously, it wasn't a good one if he got let go. We know what we see on the field, right, from their on the field performance, right? Their record speaks for itself, but you never know. That could have been Jerry Jones for all we know. My guy John, appreciate you for tapping in, brother. Mike McCarthy would be an excellent coach, has experience. We need not a rookie coach. That's all I'm saying, man. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a great coach, an excellent coach here, but I don't mind them interviewing him and see what happens. Mike McCarthy is in my first choice, but he has won a Super Bowl and he has a regular season success in Dallas. Yep. See that, and that's why I say he should be named as an interview candidate. Don't be surprised if that happens this week again. So definitely an option. He does have success in Green Bay as well, so he has a championship there for sure, 100%. My guy Big says that at this moment I would like Pete Carroll so he can bring us back and hand the keys to a younger coach. Facts, 100%. My guy Papa, our QB situation is going to be a deciding factor on who we get as head coach. They got to be someone who thinks they can get past that. A rookie coach won't do that. Could be, man. Could be for sure. But again, I appreciate you guys tapping in on this Monday night. I might be on live with Rundown. I'm gonna work that out in a bit and see what happens. And we'll talk more about Ben Johnson and everything else that's happened. Make sure you guys give my guy Rundown a follow. a subscribe on his channel, The Raider Rundown. So make sure you guys tap into his show. And then I'll let you guys know if I'm gonna be on there or not. I probably will be. We'll figure out what time he's gonna go on for sure, 100%. But again, thank you guys for joining me on the show. Don't forget the Raider Connection on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Me and Jeff New England Booster, Cheeto Linus, and LB Raider 10 will be doing the damn show. But as usual, I'll see you guys until next time. And as always, remember, just Raiders, baby. Peace. Thank you, guys.